Time for the main event. It's the Shoeshine.
Hey, ¿qué onda, vatos locos? You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Shoeshine. I'm your host, Dave from the 408, coming to you all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas. And joining me, as always, is the homeboy all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa, homie? I hope you're feeling better.
What's up, Dave?
Yeah, man. Hey, it was a jam-packed weekend. I want to thank everybody who's coming into the room late. I do apologize about Mexican time starting a little bit later than what I scheduled as. It seems to be the case with me, as always, a procrastinator, but cut me some slack, guys. I am a Libra, so let me get open one of these 805 cervezas from Cinco de Mayo that I found. Still limited edition. If you guys want to try these, man, go out and find these cans, man. They're on discount at this point. They're delicious. I'm going to have one right now, Drew. Drew, I got some breaking news that might wake you up and everybody that's here. Alicia Baumgartner, hello. I think maybe that's one of the female fighters, new champions you're following. And, of course, Michaela Mayer from Top Rank, who is featured up there in our intro, have agreed to fight, Drew. Breaking news on that. The two champions they'll be looking to fight as soon as June or July or sometime this year. I'm excited about that. And the proposition of that fight being in Las Vegas. Your thoughts on that? Two girls, two women in their prime, peak champions wanting to fight each other.
These two females are doing it besides two others.
What are the two
other names?
Who are the other two that won't fight each other? What two?
Well, you don't know. They keep talking about it and they don't, and it's all BS.
I hear you, man. Drew, I think we might have a problem with your mic, but I'm just going to roll with it, guys. If you guys don't mind, it sounds like it's your regular mic, but I don't really care. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it, and we'll just roll from there. What do you think?
All right.
Yeah. We'll just roll with it, guys. Hey, let's say what's up to people who came in here. Of course, El Chilo Boxing. What's up, homie? Taco Berestein. I love the name. Jose El Compita. Yo, thanks for coming by and saying what's up, Chicano Prophet, Bella Bling, Nopal, JC, everyone who hit the like. Don't forget to hit the like. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's the breaking news. I'm very excited about Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgartner because lately we've been having some fantastic women's matchups and they've agreed to fight sooner than later. I think maybe now I'm recalling you might be talking about women that don't want to fight each other is the blonde bomber, Ebony Bridges, saying that when she won that championship, she says that other girl could wait in line now at this point. Are you talking about her?
Nah, I'm talking about Clarissa Shields.
Okay, you're talking about Clarissa. Dare anybody say anything against the blonde bomber, right, Drew?
I could care less about her either.
That's right. That's good. All right, guys. Tons of boxing to get a hold of. But first, I got to give a shout out to this new promotional boxing entity, Drew. Are you aware that Paulie Malignaggi is an investor in this company called ProBox? All right, so ProBox has only got like 4,000 subs at the moment. There's a lot of people involved, including Roy Jones, Drew. And this Friday, they held a really, really small card in Florida. It's available on YouTube. You guys can watch the entire card, but it's only $1.99. And I wish the zone was $1.99. What's up with that? $1.99, Drew. And they had the main event was John Pascal, 39 years old, who just got busted not too long ago on banned substances. And he was the headliner against Mang Fang Long, a light heavyweight clash that was supposed to showcase Mang Fang Long. Now, the theme of this weekend is Father Time, Drew, because look, we had 3 former world champions fighting. We had Jamel Herring saying he was going to make a stand at 135. We had light heavyweight former champion in Jean Pascal, 39 years old, going on 40, saying, I still got it. He's the only one that Father Time did not take. We know what happened to David Lemieux. You predicted it. The world predicted it, that David Lemieux, it's probably time for him to call it up, wrap up the show. Right, Drew? How you feeling, Drew?
I'm all right.
Y'all struggling. Drew had a cold last week and is still lingering here. Let's say what's up to some people and put up this in the chat right now. Chicano Prophet says, at Taco, how did a Mexican end up on the East Coast? We everywhere at this point, Chicano Prophet, aren't we? I'm sure there's plenty of Mexicans in Brooklyn now as we speak. So, Drew, if you didn't watch Jean Pascal, he took this Chinese former Olympian and handled him damn well. And he's going to stick around, man. Jean Pascal just basically let everyone know at light heavyweight, if you're looking for a tough fight, I'm here. I'm still here. In fact, he put on a performance that kind of said, give me a crack at another world title. So you guys can go check out Jean Pascal Pro Box. It's just $1.99 if you want to subscribe to them. I have no affiliation with them. Now, if Paulie Malignaggi wants to hire me and Drew, we will chat about them every Monday night for the rest of the year. If they got
for a good price.
Oh, Drew says he's holding out. It's some tough Philly talk right there. For a good price, Pro Box, and have the analysis of Dave from the 408 and Drew Irish. Philly Irish Drew Evo, guys. All right, by the way, guys, as Drew steps away from the camera for a moment, let me just remind you guys that the show is live. Anything can happen. I do have a phone line, so if at any moment you want to call in and chime in on the subject matter at hand, please go ahead and do so. 702-710-3627. Don't forget, if you got boxing friends, send a link to them, man, or share it on your Facebook. All right. Taco Berenstein says, Nopal knows me, bro. We go way back to the mean streets of East Side Stockton. Stockton 209 in the house. What's up, fellas? Thank you guys for joining us. As Drew comes back, we're going to get right into this DAZN card. We're talking about light heavyweights, man. The light heavyweight division has been on full blast. Like, just everybody's kind of watching it now because Canelo Alvarez entered the division to fight Bivol. We know what happened against Bivol. And now everybody's wondering, wow, Bivol took out the pound-for-pound number 1. Who's Bivol going to fight next, Drew? Well, DAZN was making a really strong case that they've got 2 guys. Matchroom Boxing have 2 guys in Buatsi, a 2016 Olympian, versus Richards. Richards already fought Bivol. And Beeb was telling me, because I missed that fight, that he did way better than Canelo Alvarez, that Richards guy from the UK, a London mite. But both of these guys fought in the middle of the day, Drew, for us here, at least in the U.S. But I have to be honest with you guys, man. Of all the fights this weekend, to me, that fight was the most intriguing and most competitive and most action-packed fight of all the boxing I saw. In fact, I'm highlighting this Pro Box thing with Jean Pascal, Drew. And to be honest, that Jean Pascal fight as a main event was better than the David Lemieux versus David and Goliath Benevidez fight, which was, it was a shit. That was just a shit show. It was a showcase fight for him.
It's a fucking joke.
It was a showcase fight for him, right? Second fight back in Phoenix.
Dave, we can't sugarcoat shit. It's a fucking joke.
It was a fucking joke. But everybody now is like, oh, David Benevidez, he's a monster. He's a monster. What the fuck? We already knew he's the world former 2-time champion at 168 pounds. At the weight, at 168, he's a monster.
That lost his belt.
Yeah,
lost his belt because of cocaine and lost his belt because he overweight.
For the record, he's a monster at 168. He's an enormously sized 168-pound fighter. Everybody is worried that he was not going to come in on weight because he's had those problems, lost his title on the scale. But he can't. Not only did he come in weight, he looked to be in fantastic conditioning. So, of course, he destroyed David Lemieux, who's already been destroyed. We already said that last Monday, 11 years ago, Mexican Marco Antonio Rubio destroyed him on ESPN Friday Night Fight Night or something. That's how old it was that we've already seen this guy take punishment like that. Nonetheless, people are clamoring to see Canelo Alvarez fight David Benevidez. So much so that his manager, Samson Boxing, said, get over it. You're not going to see the fight. Well, at least he says you're not going to see the fight this year, which is 100% accurate because Canelo Alvarez signed, a 3-fight deal with DAZN? It ain't going to happen, right? We're not going to see it. So I'm jumping way ahead of myself, Drew. We're here to talk about all the other fights first. We're here to talk about the light heavyweight division, Drew. In the context of what you saw on Saturday afternoon between this guy, Richards, and the former Olympian Buatsi, man, Buatsi has got a lot of tools. Is Buatsi ready for Bivol? The guy in the ring that he disposed of in 12 in a close decision did well against Bivol. Some people were saying Buatsi doesn't stand a chance against Dimitri Bivol.
I don't know. I don't want to see the fight. I'd rather see him first fight the winner of Joe Smith and Petrov, but I guess Eddie Hearn got to make some money too off this.
You think so? Well, of course he's got to, man. Why is Eddie Hearn putting on fantastic Saturday fights like that between some very competitive people on his roster, but he could not do that for Boo Boo Andrade? He couldn't do it for Boo Boo Andrade, right? Can't do it for him.
Eddie Hearn's an idiot.
He can't do it for that guy, but he could put on a great competitive fight on Saturday between two of his London stablemates in his stable. Very competitive. One that I wouldn't actually mind seeing a rematch in. And I think, to be honest, this guy Richards, who lost in a close decision, would be a very good opponent for anybody at light heavyweight division.
That's because Eddie Hearn's a dick rider.
Drew's in a mood today. Oh, man. You're in the mood. All right. Hey, the DAZN card was extremely good. To me, it was the best fight of the entire weekend, was that DAZN one. Especially, guys, if you did not see that fight, you can watch that on DAZN on YouTube for free. You can go to the highlights and watch the highlights of Richards versus Buatsi, or you can watch the entire fight for free at this point. Now, here's the deal, Drew. If we show clips of DAZN, we are likely, from what I've been told, that are starting to come after podcasters and channels like us and actually threatening them with lawsuits. So, I mean, the best thing I can do is put up a picture of the fight, which should avoid any copyright claims. But, here we see Buatsi. Should Buatsi take the Bivol fight next? Should Buatsi take the Bivol fight next? When there's that other guy we like, Mexico, Zurdo Ramirez, I think deserves a crack first. 100%. Zurdo Ramirez deserves a crack first at Dimitri Bivol. Drew?
Fire Chris Mannix.
Fire Chris Mannix. Does Buatsi get ahead of somebody much stronger competitor like Zurdo Ramirez, who we saw just a week before?
Most likely he does.
You think Buatsi's going to get the nod?
Yeah, he's going to get the nod.
Because of his association with Eddie Hearn, or you think Oscar De La Hoya is second fiddle? I got to remind everybody, Oscar De La Hoya just renewed his contract with Golden Boy and DAZN. So Golden Boy will continue to do business with DAZN. He's gotta fight and advocate for them, man. If you guys aren't pissed off about Jaime Munguia fighting a guy named Kelly at 160,
a guy named Kelly?
Is that his last name?
Wow, Munguia versus Kelly.
We all waiting for that. We've been waiting for that fight. Been waiting for that one.
I comment on Golden Boy's Instagram post. I was like, what a fucking another joke.
By the way, you know that Oscar De La Hoya on Twitter has made his account so you cannot respond to him. It's like it's kind of like blanked out in the section where you drop a comment and respond. He made that so you can't talk back to him, so he can post. And his newest picture, I don't know, guys. It looks a little bit like he applied some Instagram filters to his picture now. I don't know. It looks a little suspicious. I mean, I know about Botox and all that, but come on now. It looks like he's 10 years younger in that picture, and I can't even comment on that at this point. Drew, Golden Boys re-signed with DAZN, and DAZN puts on a great fight when you let Eddie Hearn take care of it on his own, but whenever it comes time to working for our American fighters, or at least U.S.-based fighters, they get the shaft, man. That's why we're getting Jaime Munguia in a bum fight. When we just saw somebody everybody is raving about, let's talk about Top Rank Saturday card. And a quick shout out to Adam Blue Nose Lopez, who's been on our show, friend of David Benevidez, who led us on to him to talk to him, man. He eked out a 126-pound victory after being dropped twice by a Dominican Republican guy in Encarnacion. He got dropped twice, Drew, and the judges gave him 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8th round. Even though he was dropped twice early on, I was screaming. My wife and I were watching it, rooting for him. A very, very controversial win, Drew. I don't know how he gave them all 5 of those rounds after being dropped twice. But one thing about Adam Blue Nose Lopez, who's fought Oscar Valdez, he's tough, man. The kid has got a lot of heart. His father was a professional fighter. If you read about Adam Blue Nose Lopez, his father committed suicide in Mexico. It's a really tragic story, one that we've heard a lot in the sports world. But, man, trying to continue to press forward in your career, I give nothing but props to Adam Blue Nose Lopez. Even if it was a very tough and controversial win, Drew, he's been on the shit end of some losses too. So, you know, whenever fighters like that pick up a win maybe they shouldn't have, it just comes around, man. It just comes with, it's karma, right, bro? It just comes with the territory. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you don't. Unless you're Canelo Alvarez. No, actually, him too. All right, guys. Top Rank card featured Jamel Herring, America's favorite Marine, world champion at 130 pounds, just got beat up by Shakur Stevenson months ago, but says, hey, I've still got it in me. I'm going to show you guys at 135 pounds. He fights a Puerto Rican guy named Jermaine Ortiz, who looked damn good the last few times I've seen him on Top Rank. Why they picked Jermaine Ortiz? This guy is... Jermaine Ortiz fought a very disciplined, intelligent fight, man, and he earned that victory. And Jamel Herring was so gracious in his defeat. He's a very gracious guy, by all accounts, a really wonderful Marine. And do you agree, Drew, that it's time for him to hang him up? He seemed to make that decision rather soon on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's time. Like, you should have won the fight. You didn't win the fight, and like. You're just a gatekeeper now to some people. So
that's awful. That sucks.
Yeah, it is.
That sucks. And when you have a lot of pride and you have a beautiful family like Jamel Herring and you've had a great career, actually becoming a world champion much later than the average boxer, it's no shame in that, man. He's done his best that he could with this boxing career. And at this point, after seeing him lose to Shakur Stevenson and seeing him lose to a very unknown fighter in Jermaine Ortiz, who's talented nonetheless. Is he just going to be the guy they bring in to get beat up by the new young guns? Again, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it at all, man. I'm glad you said that because he's got a lot of pride and he's no gatekeeper. He's a former world champion. Sometimes guys stick around entirely too long chasing another big payday. So Jamel Herring, I tip my hat off to you for real. Thank you for your service and for being in some great fights, man. 135 pounds didn't seem to renew his career or his gusto. He's still too slow for the younger guys. He can't pull the trigger as quickly anymore. So we'll see, man. But let's move on to the Top Rank main event. Drew was in Las Vegas. I mentioned I wanted to go, but it was too late to just head over to Vegas to see this Top Rank fight. Featured Janibek, the new Kazakh style. The guy they're promising is literally, he says he's not Triple G. But his is the real Kazakh style, Drew. His opponent, Danny Dignam, man, a guy nobody's heard of. Did you expect this thing to go any differently than a highlight reel KO?
No. Especially a guy named Dignam.
Especially a guy named what?
Dignam, what the fuck you just said?
Dignam, yeah. Let's put up that picture of that this year. So here we have Jamel Herring, but on top right here we have Janibek, almost stepping on the guy Dignam, who I believe came over from the UK to fight him.
I would have stepped on him too.
It was a brutal shot, man, a brutal uppercut. I believe that. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it was a pretty brutal shot. Yes, Janibek has tremendous power, explosive power. He's fought nobody yet. He's fought nobody.
He stops Jaime Munguia.
Ooh. Well, shout out to my homeboy Sonteo Media. What's up, fellas? He says hashtag HCP. very, very, very controversial statement because Jaime Munguia seems to have a granite chin. Now, of course, I'm waiting for Jaime to be his reins let loose by Oscar De La Hoya, who keeps babysitting him and putting him on, you know, a three-wheel tricycle. I want to see that fight. These are two guys that should be fighting, right? Maybe Oscar's going to wait till Jaime gets his own belt and then they'll avoid each other, because that's what it looks like to me, man. But Janibek, he specifically said post-fight interviews to everybody, I am calling out all the champions. If you have a belt, I want to fight you. That means you, Gennady Golovkin. That means you, Charlo. That means you, Bubu Andrade, who a lot of people think Bubu Andrade ducked him. In fact, that his whole move moving up to 168 to fight for that interim title, that was a duck against defending his belt against Janibek. How do you think Janibek would have fared against the slick Bubu Andrade, man? That is an interesting styles matchup.
He probably wouldn't be ready for Bubu yet.
This comment is a really good one because long live boxing. Shout out to you, homie. I remember Jermaine Ortiz versus Joseph Adorno. This is just Joseph Adorno comes out of the Philadelphia area, Drew, Pennsylvania fighter last year on the Navarrete versus Diaz undercard. And I was surprised Top Rank made that fight. Exactly, because Jermaine Ortiz looked like a guy who's on the up and up. And here they put him in with Jamel Herring, who actually really needs some kind of like one of those easy pick'em fights, you know, where he can rebuild his confidence and acclimate his body to the new weight. And it could have turned out even worse, I think, for Jamel Herring. What's up, Drew?
Like, it was a wrong, you know, fight for somebody. It was a wrong pick for a fight from the fight, and so it backfired on Top Rank. It backfired on him. He lost the fight. Like, they tell you the truth. They had bad matchmaking before with Gabe Flores. So,
one of the worst examples. And I know there's some people here in the room, and I hope to see Gabe Flores rebuild his career steadily and slowly, because there's always a potential that you rush a young prospect way too fast. Usually Top Rank is very careful about doing it slowly with these guys. In that case, that was bad matchmaking for sure. But when we're talking on the subject of Top Rank matchmaking, Drew, when's the last time that Top Rank, if you could remind me, had the middleweight champ, had someone having the title? Because at the moment, how are they going to work across the board with PBC to fight Charlo? How are they going to work across the board to fight over at the Zone, which only, it seems Bob Arum only wants to do it if it involves Tyson Fury, not anybody else? How are you going to turn Janibek into a star and get him a title if they really don't do it often? I mean, they don't work across the aisle.
I don't know. It's very hard right now because, like, cross promotion is really hard nowadays to do. It's really hard, especially if you're trying to cross promote with PBC. Get one of you guys to fight like Charlo or something, or like, you know, especially with Jaime Munguia, you're not gonna get a fight with him. It's unfortunate. It's politics. That's what's keeping like good fights from happening. Is politics mainly. Yeah. Politics
does definitely have an impact. I don't know what's going to happen with Janibek, man. He seems to pass all the eye tests. Let me know in the chat, does he pass your eye test as the next animal at 160 pounds? Because last Thursday, Drew, you and I both, for the first time, were on the round table. And if you guys didn't catch that, go over to Ringside Reporter Live, Joe Habib's channel, and catch the replay of it. I had a lot of fun. And the only time I got really excited was when we talked about the 160-pound division. Because if you didn't watch it, basically, Drew, I just called it a shit show where everybody's scrambling to avoid each other. Nobody wants to fight each other who's at the top level, including Jaime Munguia and Charlo. They don't want to fight. They're all looking to fight easy picks. Then you had Andre to essentially relinquish his title and move up to 168, only to succumb to some kind of shoulder injury. He's out of the equation now. The only guy fighting consistently, really, it's like this Janibek guy calling everybody out, man. Give him a fight. Let's see what he can do. They need to fix this 160-pound division, man. Everybody's a badass at 154. Everybody's a badass at 168. Then you got 160, where all these guys are ducking each other or thinking about moving up in weight. I don't know, man. We will see how that pans out. But let's get over to the show. the Showtime card. What were you gonna say?
I was
Drew?
just on the round table. I was just on the round table. Look pretty.
Drew with the just. And let me know, is he the eye candy of the round table? That's what Drew says. He was the eye candy of the round table. But hey, Showtime. The Showtime card was not that bad. I'm not gonna be like, oh, maybe the main event. We all knew it was kind of a predetermined out. It was predetermined what was going to happen. We all know that David Benevidez was going to run through David Lemieux. But there was a fight, guys, that really intrigued me, and I want to talk about this really quickly. The very first fight of the night involved an 18-year-old kid named Fierro. Fierro comes out of the tough gyms in Guadalajara, Jalisco. He's already I think he had like 15 or 16-0. Never fought in America or on American TV. And Drew, you know they have Showtime has a thing for this called Showbox. On Friday, every other Friday night, they get Showbox where they look for the hottest new prospects, up and coming potential prospects around the world and bring them in. This kid Fierro's never even been on Showbox, man. He just got thrusted onto the stage against an undefeated Dominican Republican fighter who's been on Showbox twice. Yes, he seemed very basic. But Fierro, the kid practically walked out crying out of the ring. This kid is emotional. He's tough. He's got hand speed. He's a southpaw. He's got a lot of power in that left hand, hence all these early knockouts. Probably started fighting professionally at 16. He seemed like he only had that 1-2 combination, but he throws it with a lot of authority, Drew. And he really fought to the very end of this fight. Never been past 2 rounds. Makes it, I believe, 10 rounds, and comes close. Still got a lot to learn, man. A lot of boxing to learn. Why is this kid not on Showbox and not being brought up slowly? Y'all need to rethink that at PBC, at Showtime, whoever's handling this kid Fierro, slow it down. Maybe don't feature him on TV for the next couple of fights and then bring him back. But also consider putting this kid in the U.S. with some U.S.-based trainers. Because this kid's got natural talent, Drew. I was really impressed by that kid, and I thought it was a great, entertaining fight. It was probably the best way to start off Saturday night card for Showtime. It was very exciting. I think most people will agree with me that was probably one of the best fights on the Showtime card, and it featured, like I said, this kid's 18 years old. Yeah, 18 years old, 15-1 now, or whatever his record is, but I do think they need to go back to the drawing board with Fierro at 126 pounds. Put this kid, do not lose sight of this kid. He is going to be something else. And congratulations to Nunez as well, Drew. You got a thought on that? 18 years old, man, being thrusted into the spotlight like that?
Yeah, he's very undisciplined.
But you could change that if you've got the raw talent and you've got the commitment. I think they could work with him on that. All right, going back to this, because I did ask. Long Live Boxing says, I was impressed, Janibek, despite the questionable opponent. I'm just excited to see a talented guy that wants to smoke at 160 pounds. Absolutely, man. We know that Gennady Golovkin's days are numbered, but what's very exciting is that Gennady Golovkin is going to pick up that third fight with Canelo Alvarez. Some people aren't excited. Maybe the majority of boxing fans aren't excited, but he's on his way out. So is Janibek literally the next Gennady Golovkin? Other people are going to say, hell no, he's much better than Gennady Golovkin. That remains to be seen. He's not the world champion yet, Drew. Correct me. How many times did Gennady Golovkin defend his title at 160 pounds?
20.
20?
But he's not 20 straight times.
But who did?
Bernard Hopkins.
Bernard Hopkins. Yeah. I want to see Janibek win that world title and go forward, and let's see how many times he can defend it. But he does pass that eye test, man. All right. Also on that Showtime card, of course, was this Cuban fighter who guys, forgive me if I forget his name, but this Cuban fighter looks like he's going to be pretty badass. He fought what was that guy's name? Cota, Mexican fighter from Sinaloa. That was an awkward fight, man. But I'm looking forward more of that Cuban fighter, guys. Throw it in the chat what his name is. What's his name?
Gomez.
Yeah. I'm having fun watching that guy, man. He's not flawless, but he's got a lot of power. He hits with a lot of bad intentions, man. I'm excited to see what happens with that guy in his career. 154 pounds. I mean, hello, we just saw Charlo unify that. And at 154, we keep talking about how PBC stable is deep. Now you got this guy with less than 10 fights. You know, Cota from Mexico's been in there with a lot of world champions, man. This is a guy, a world title challenger already. And he got beat up in there like a punching bag. In fact, I think my wife said, why is Eddie Munster getting his ass beat up in there? Anybody else think he looked like Eddie Munster after that beating? Come on, Al. All right, Drew. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Gomez. I'm not saying he's going to be a world champion, but he very well could be. You know, he very well could. He sure hits a lot harder than Erislandy Lara at 154 pounds, and he actually fights quite differently from Erislandy Lara. This guy likes to mix it up, man. So I'm excited for Gomez. Hey, Yolanda909 says hello. Thank you for coming in here, and thank you. I saw Dan619 up in here. Everybody who's in the chat, I appreciate you coming in here. We were just talking about Showtime's card, which was in Phoenix. The second time David Benevidez fights in his hometown of Phoenix, the Phoenix area. Drew, at that casino in Phoenix, it's like a Las Vegas style casino, and he sold out almost the entire damn thing. That's not bad. I have to give David Benevidez credit for that. If you don't want to go to Vegas, you got the Vegas experience this Saturday by going to that casino, and where they had at least over 10,000 tickets sold. So, I mean, I have to say, that's impressive. He's got a following, man. He's got a following Caleb Plant don't. Caleb Plant ain't bringing anybody to see him fight in Vegas, let alone 10 to 14,000 seats, man. Do you agree or disagree?
He did probably sell out a thing in Tennessee.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
That's been a minute. It's been a minute. You're right. You're right about that, man. Yeah, he's done that. But I have to say that David Benevidez, his fan base is growing really quite big and quite rapidly, man. So it begs the question, man. We saw him take out David Lemieux. And David Lemieux fought with tremendous heart and courage. Should they have stopped that fight after round one?
Hey, do you have to talk about this joke or fight?
We can get to the next. Hey, if you don't want to talk about that fight, well, shit, we can start wrapping up the show and talk about this one.
Like, it's a fucking joke, this fight. It was a fucking joke because...
Which one are we talking about? This Saturday's fight?
No,
the pay-per-view?
Past Saturday's
All right,
fight.
guys. All right, we will get to this. I will get to the pay-per-view of this coming up this Saturday.
David Lemieux has been shot for 5 years. It's like, seriously, this dude has not been relevant in 5 years. And you got motherfuckers on YouTube trying to hype David Lemieux up. Oh, this guy got power. It intrigues me because he has power. Like, come on.
Well, Riley Romero has power too, don't he?
You're just being a fucking, like, whoever say that is being a fucking dick rider for some reason, man. Seriously. Like, come on, man. Like, you trying to do anything to hype up this fucking fight. Everybody knows how the fight was going to end. And it ended the way I said it was going to end. Like, come on now. What a fucking joke. And, like, people need to really be really serious about this shit.
Well, who should we be mad at? As fight fans, should we blame David Benevidez and his father? Or should we blame PBC?
Well, I tell you the truth, you got to blame his father a little bit because he's part of the management team. You got to blame his management team because all they do is fucking match him up with fucking bums, with guys that nobody gives a fuck about. His best fighter, the best fighter he fought was Anthony Durrell. Other than that, he hasn't fought jack shit, in my opinion. And a lot of people's opinion too. But people want to keep saying he's the boogeyman. How is he the fucking boogeyman if he hasn't fought nobody? You guys talk about Demetrius Andre hasn't fought nobody. You guys talk about Caleb Plant hasn't fought nobody. But nobody wants to fucking tell about how fucking David Benevidez hasn't really fight anybody. Like, come on now.
Well, he called those people, he actually used the word bitches. He called those fighters bitches. He said David Lemieux's the one guy that... He said David Lemieux's the one guy that signed up to fight me. So he gives David Lemieux all credit.
He didn't call Andre a bitch because he tried to price himself out, saying I want $7 to $10 million to fight Demetrius Andre. Like, come on now. That shows you don't want to fight Demetrius Andre. Like, and to tell you the truth, you and Charlo just keep going back and forth. Like,
but Charlo says he's going to fight him next year.
Charlo speaks bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Well, let's talk about what his trainer said now. I was just talking about Samson Lebaskowicz, or I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name, but Samson, his management, says forget about Canelo. Forget about Canelo Alvarez because that fight ain't gonna happen. Now, who do we have available at PBC? We have Caleb Plant, who they should have fought, right? Didn't they both have the titles at one moment at the exact same time? They had world titles, both of those cats. They could have made a unification. But instead, they, in a roundabout way, they set it up for Canelo to get all these titles. But they could have fought each other already. You got Caleb Plant. They're thinking Charlo might want to come up and weigh 8 pounds and face him. Who else could he fight? You mentioned Anthony Direlli's already fought him. And the Cuban fighter, which I actually think would be an exceptional fight.
David Morrell?
And yes, Mr. Morrell, David Morrell. That's actually an exceptional fight that I would like to see. I believe he's got an interim title of some sort.
David Morrell beats David Benevidez.
So will we see that one first, or will we see Caleb Plant?
You won't see David. He won't fight David Morrell. No one's going to sign up, ever going to sign up to fight Boo Boo, which they get out. What did they get out of fighting Boo Boo? Tell you the truth. If they beat Boo Boo, first got to beat Boo Boo.
That's all you get. That's all you get. Because right now he doesn't have a title at 160. I don't know if it's too late to go back and get your belt at 160. But it sounds like he relinquished it.
It's an aim, but it's an aim, and people don't realize it. You guys gonna keep using the same thing. He gets nada. But the thing about it is, it's recognition that he fought. That he fought one of these guys, and he beats one of these guys. It's just like the other guy.
Yeah.
Boo Boo beats David Benevidez. He beats the so-called boogeyman. Or he beats Charlo. He beats Charlo. If it's at 160, he unifies. If it's at 168, he just beats another guy that's fought each other.
Long Live Boxing says, do you all believe his manager Samson saying that Benavidez will either fight Plant, Morrell, or Charlo? I would love David Morrell. I would love to see him fight David Morrell as well. Because I'm kind of intrigued, like Drew's saying. Drew doesn't think Benavidez gets through Morrell. Morrell seems to have a very exceptional high ring IQ. He has not been in with anyone that has pressed him, right? And my problem when I picked Bivol to lose against Canelo was that I hadn't really seen Bivol be pushed. But sometimes fighters like Bivol and Morrell fight to the level of their opposition or do just enough to win. So we really don't know what their 100 and 110% is like. That could be a really dangerous fight for David Benevidez, who seems to square up. I still see a lot of that, Drew. He fights, he squares up, and it works for him. He overpowers everybody. But against somebody who knows how to box, he's going to leave his body exposed. He's going to leave his body exposed. It's really interesting. Everybody's like, oh, Canelo doesn't want to fight him. But really, there's a lot to like for Canelo against fighting David Benevidez. And that's the way he exposes his body. Leaves his body open. David Lemieux was tagging him to the body. I was like, yeah, keep working on that. Keep trying to chop down this tree. When David Benevidez squares up, if you do not match him in size, power, you are going to get outgunned. Just hands down. So, but put him in against somebody who's a slick boxer. Like
he's never been in there with him.
I don't know. I've never seen the guy fight against somebody
he's
like
never been in there with
them.
So
Boo
how
Boo
can
Andrade.
you say,
Yeah, he ain't fight the likes of that.
How can you say I can't believe I just heard 6-0 Morrell beats Benevidez?
We don't know. The truth, we don't know.
You don't know. Tell you the truth, Benevidez likes an inside game. You don't know how the hell that could end bad for him if he fights a boxer that can get inside on him.
I would 100% confidently say that David Benevidez knocks out Caleb Plant tomorrow or anytime they fight. The recipe is there.
I don't think he doesn't beat Caleb Plant.
Wow.
I think he outboxes. I think Caleb Plant outboxes Benevidez for 12 rounds.
You really think he could do it? I don't think his chin holds up.
He does it for 12 rounds. I don't think Benevidez is going to be able to really get a significant game on Caleb Plant.
Well, one thing Caleb Plant does have going for him is his jab, and how Benevidez responds to a fighter with a better jab. It reminds me of the potential for what we saw with Bivol when Canelo experienced a much better jab, like by a stronger, taller opponent, and Bivol's jab was fantastic on the night he fought Canelo Alvarez. What happens with a guy who's got a superb jab? Unfortunately, I don't think Caleb Plant is that special. I mean, he did use it well against Canelo Alvarez in the early part of his fight, but I don't know if it's enough to. I don't know if it's enough to stop David Benevidez. I don't. The Morrell fight is very intriguing. Yes, he doesn't have that many. He doesn't have a lot of. His resume isn't thick. He just kind of started his professional career. Lomachenko didn't have but 2 fights before he started fighting for world titles. We'll see. There is good fights for David Benavidez at PBC. It's up to their management to make them now. And Drew, while we talk about Boo Boo Andrade, is Boo Boo going to sign with PBC?
Only way he signs with PBC if he gets a fight, if he's promised a fight with Charlo.
If I'm Boo Boo Andrade, I'm doing what it takes to sign over at PBC, man. Because on that side of the aisle, he's got a lot of fights to line up. He can line up to do 3 fights in a row, all against quality opposition. If he ends up going with some other entity like Pro Box, he's just going to go into obscurity, man. Like Pro Box is snatching up fighters that are at the end of their career, like Jean Pascal. The same way, what is that? Defunct, that hip-hop pay-per-view channel. They're snatching up way past their prime fighters and doing random exhibitions. The Versus people. Thrilla. Boo Boo better sign with PBC. I think that's... If he's going to go anywhere with the rest of his career, he better go over to PBC, because at least there he'll have an opportunity to show what he's really about. And we'll find out if he was really the boogeyman, as he claims he is, the boogeyman of the 168-pound division. We'll see, man. Your thoughts about that?
Oh, you just go sign with Golden Boy.
Golden Boy just signed with DAZN. So he'd be back. He'd still be on the same network. We'll see. You're right about that. He could ink a deal with Oscar, but man, Oscar can't get Hyman when he a damn good fight. What the hell would Boo Boo want to do with Oscar?
Oscar's protecting Hyman here.
So you don't think he would protect Boo Boo?
Tell you the truth, I think he'll do whatever he can to get. He'll have to do whatever he can to outgun Eddie Hearn and everything. There's something to prove that he can get Boo Boo a good fight. And by the way, Ronda side beats Spain Rodriguez Santino.
Long Live Boxing says Pro Box has got that last chance tournament thing going on. Yeah, that's not a move for Boo Boo, his last chance. But think about that, Drew. He basically got kicked rocks by Eddie Hearn, and maybe that is exactly what Boo Boo's looking for, his last chance. He's like 34, like, come on, man, give me one last chance. Or maybe he'll go into Canelo's post-fight press conference next time he fights, and he'll get Canelo's attention again and cry out for one more chance. Come on, man, give me one more chance, man. Come on, Canelo. And then we get to hear his favorite phrase come out of Canelo.
I don't think he can say payday anymore because he got his ass kicked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, by the way, shit talking on Twitter, guys, I have to bring this up. It was brought up on D-Style's show earlier, and this is something that really bothered me. Jamel Herring announces his retirement, but shortly before that, Chris Colbert from Brooklyn, Chris Colbert, Drew, the guy that dyes his hair pink, said, maybe you better stick to your military career. So that was a really nasty shots fired on Twitter. And overwhelmingly, the Twitter audience responded to Chris Colbert that you're just a piece of shit. You're an asshole. You're an asshole. I don't know. I guess they've had some interactions. Maybe Jamel had said some stuff about him when he lost in Las Vegas recently or something. But I mean, to throw shade at someone who defended our country, I thought it was inappropriate. It was a real jerk move, to be honest. Not the way you should approach things. All right, so Teo Media says Oscar needs to fill dates for DAZN with Ryan, Virgil, and Mujia. Oscar will not risk Mujia unless what? Call us, or finish this thought on your mind, man. I'm interested. Right now, he ain't risking shit for anybody, Drew. Even Ryan Garcia. Supposedly they were talking with the Pitbull Crews, and now they said, "Oh, yep, not going to happen. We've got prior commitments." So I don't know, man. And as for Virgil Sonteo, I'm like, everybody was so high on him. He got sick. It's not his fault. He's actually a real illness involved. But man, I can't wait to see Virgil Ortiz fighting somebody real at 147 pounds. Him and Conor Benn and Boots Ennis are all being accused of fighting shit opponents. But when it comes to getting them fights, nobody, again, only the guys at the tail end of their careers are willing to fight them for a payday. All the young guns don't want to fight each other, or their management is stopping them from fighting each other. It's getting on my damn last nerve. All right. Hey, let's talk about this next weekend, this Saturday, because it's time. The fight that was supposed to happen last year, the reason why Isaac Cruz, everybody knows him, was because these two lovely stepbrothers right here, Rolly Romero, Cuban-American, and of course, all the way from Baltimore, we have Tank Davis, not Golden Boy, Floyd Mayweather's protege, Drew. That's who he said. That's his protege right there.
Former.
Protege. Oh, is that right? Fight. Oh, that's right. Excuse me. Shit, I forgot the news. He left Floyd, right?
He's about to leave Floyd after this fight.
He's about to leave Floyd after this fight. All the choice words, the first time they were going to fight, Drew, unfortunately, for Rolly Romero, a lot of girls in the Las Vegas area found out that he was about to get the payday of his life. And so they took to social media to discuss and talk about Rolly Romero's perverted sexual assault type ways and things he would do in front of their presence. It reminded me of that comedian Louis C.K., those kind of those kind of allegations, salacious, just gross. Just go read them. Go look for the old allegations. Well, Drew, they did the investigation, and the fight was completely called off. Showtime was like, damn, we can't do this fight. This guy could go to prison. All charges were dropped, and Isaac Cruz loses in a close fight to Tank Davis. And now we are going to get to see this fight because you all been waiting for. All the shit talking is over this week. I saw Raleigh's open workout last week. It was being, people were streaming it from the Floyd Mayweather gym. Raleigh is awkward, bro. He is awkward as all shits. He is untraditional. He has got some kind of footwork that just don't make no kind of sense. He says it's like his mixed martial arts background. It's like his martial arts background. It was whatever. It kind of reminds me of Conor McGregor saying, remember when Paulie was like, yeah, he knows how to fight. Paulie goes, he knows how to fight. He does things kind of differently. He just does things his own way. Remember that? Remember Paulie and Conor McGregor? Well, Rolly Romero does things like, I don't know what way he's doing it, but he puts power into a lot of his shots, Drew. And here's what I think is going to happen. He's going to go all out for the first 1 or 2 rounds, trying to land a huge punch. And little Gervonta Tank Davis has got enough ring IQ to get out of the way. And y'all remember that guy, Marinez? Remember that fight between Rolly Romero and Marinez? And they were touting Rolly Romero as the next big thing at the lightweight division. And this unknown Latino fighter, Marinez, outboxes him, embarrasses Rolly Romero, and somehow Rolly Romero gets the nod when it comes time, and they announce Rolly Romero had eked out a victory. How on earth? I wouldn't know. And that's exactly what's going to happen this Saturday, man. If Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't knock him out, just entirely possible, because Rolly Romero, while he's calling that dude a fairy, Rolly Romero got a blockhead. And I think he might be able to take Gervonta Tank's best punches. We'll see. Other guys haven't, Drew. But it's going to be a Gervonta Tank Davis win. Late decision, either by a decision or a late KO for me. And the odds aren't looking very good right now. What are you thinking?
This shit don't go 5 rounds. He's going to knock Morley out in 5 rounds or less.
You think he's going to connect on that big uppercut? One of those big uppercuts that he landed on Santa Cruz, Leo Santa Cruz?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. They let him fight still when he choked a bitch. He literally had a video of him choking the girl and everything. They still let him fucking fight.
Both of these cats have really questionable behavior when it comes to how they interact with women in their lives, baby mamas, girlfriends, people they go out on a Tinder date with. They really have some questionable behavior. if you're comfortable paying for it, there's going to be a lot of other good fighters on it. One of them is our boy that I don't want to make sure I remember. Jesus Ramos Jr. is going to be in a fight, a 154-pound fight, with a really credible opponent. And of course, we know Charlo is the king at 154, and he's on PBC. And Jesus Ramos Jr., he's got a lot to prove this Saturday because he wants to let people know, I'm on the way to fighting people like Fundora, or Tim Tszyu. So we'll see. It's very important I see his performance this Saturday and do very well on Saturday, Jesus Ramos Jr. But I think we're both on the same page about Tank Davis coming up with the win. Drew says by KO. He's giggling. All right, guys. One thing I do want to mention, and Drew, I want to agree with you on something. Rolly Romero throws very wide. He throws very wide looping power shots, and it's entirely possible that Gervonta Tank Davis will land one of those sneaky counter uppercuts against Rolly Romero. And we'll just see. I'm going to see in the first 6 rounds whether or not Rolly Romero can take his best shot, And can Gervonta Tank Davis avoid all those awkward power punches that Rolly Romero is going to unload on? My boy Sin City Syndicate comes in here and he says, it's a long one too. He says, Pitbull exposed Tank's power. Rolly isn't Leo Santa Cruz. Tank isn't a TMT fighter after this. Mayweather needs an undefeated fighter in his stable. He's going to need somebody, and if he doesn't get somebody, he's going to have to keep doing those funky ass, what do you call those, exhibitions like he did this weekend. I almost forgot to mention Floyd was back in the ring, and probably the most entertaining thing about him fighting his sparring partner, Drew, was that he took the ring card, the ring card girl's job, and in between rounds, he didn't even sit down. He just took the damn thing to say, look at me. I'm a ring card girl too. I'm Floyd. I'll run the whole show. Round 7 it is for Floyd Mayweather. He needs help. He's going to need some people in his stable if Gervonta Tank Davis does really leave.
He's Jesus.
Huh? He needs Jesus?
Yeah.
All right. What is this? No Pablo Cianos. Man, we got the ladies on tonight. Drew is big pimping. Ooh, is that right? Oh, shit.
Yeah, ladies are saying hi to me tonight in chat.
Is that right?
Yeah. Ladies, you want to follow my Instagram? Go ahead. That's my Instagram right there.
That's right. If you want to follow Drew, you can do so at Drew Evo. And if you want to follow me, and you don't follow me already, you'll just give me more reason to start posting on my IG at Shoeshine_boxing. This Saturday night, Drew, here we are again. Some of you might have to pay for it. Some of you don't mind paying for it. Some of you will stream it and get a little crack stream going. But it's a holiday weekend, man. And we're getting ready to go into an exciting summer of boxing. And everybody's wondering, we're all trying to figure out how to stay safe, healthy, and not, get killed by these rising gas prices. As much as I'd like to leave this weekend, I'm probably going to be watching the Gervonta Tank Davis at home by my pool this Saturday, cooking up some good food. And if you're going to do that too, shout out to you and shout out to everybody who's getting out of town for the weekend too. I'm Dave from the 408. Every Monday night we do the Shoeshine Late where we recap boxing and all its hilarious content. Don't forget to tune in next Monday on the holiday. Well, shit, I ain't even talked to that. Drew, are we coming back next Monday or taking it off?
That's up to you. As a matter of fact, we might as well just come back because you got to go talk about this fight and everything.
That's real dedication.
And plus, these ladies like looking at me, so I'm gonna do them a favor and let them look at me.
Oh, there you go. Don't forget to hit up Drew Evo with the DM. It's been a great show, guys. I appreciate everybody. We will see you next Monday night. Peace.